Welcome back. We're on the final part of episode 56, and we're talking about the WWE Championship match at Survivor Series between CM Punk, Ryback, and John Cena, and three other people, but we'll get on that in a minute. Uh, we thought that it was kind of interesting that Ryback, out of all people, was being introduced last. Did you pick up on that?
Yeah, that was interesting to see CM Punk come in second as the WWE champion. Usually they disrespect the champion by having him come in first, which I think is a mistake. But having the champion come out last is a tradition. And even Howard Finkel at one point took offense to that because it's always been a tradition to have the champion come out last. But having him come out second, that didn't make much sense. And having Ryback come out last, I was thinking, are they going to put the championship on this guy? I'm not exactly sure at this point, but
Yeah.
that was a bit strange.
And the storyline of this match was really self-explanatory that Ryback is kind of steamrolling through both of them, and they need to basically team up just to be able to put a dent in him. He really no-sold a lot of stuff, which that's good because it works with the character, and it's good that they're at least doing that when it comes to John Cena as well. If they would have only done that with CM Punk, that really would have been kind of a shot to CM Punk. But if he's gonna do it, he should do it with everybody. And they're kind of treating John Cena a little weird here. I don't know if this is what those. Well, some rumors are going around that um, they're not necessarily punishing John Cena, but that they're like losing their little faith and they're not sure exactly what they're going to do with him and all that. But if that's the case, I mean, you can see some little parts here and there that they're sort of booking Ryback as the bigger star than John Cena a little bit.
Yeah, I believe so. I mean, I understand the fact they wanted to keep Ryback strong, and I think that was smart booking to pin Cena instead of Ryback. But yeah, I mean, with all the injuries that John Cena's been getting lately, with his one back and out of champions and his one most recently this past week on Raw, his ankle injury that is. I mean, you can't depend on this guy forever. And I'm not saying that Ryback's not going to be the new face of the company or anything, but I think it's better to start building Ryback rather than keep on protecting Cena. At this point, Cena can take a loss and it doesn't matter. I mean, the guy lost to Rock at WrestleMania, um, and it didn't affect him at all. I mean, he
Right.
won maybe a month later to Brock Lesnar, so it didn't affect him at all, which is good to see. I mean, the guy's won so many matches that if he loses a match, it really helps the guy that he loses to. Granted, it was via cheap tactics and whatnot, but I mean, it's much better to have him lose rather than Ryback. Ryback's a star on the rise. Really looking forward to where he goes from here. I mean, he can take the loss here. I'm looking forward to how they book another loss to him at TLC if they have him go against CM Punk. Having him lose three pay-per-views in a row doesn't make much sense to me. But as long as he isn't getting pinned, that's fine with me. But having Cena lose, completely fine with me. And I thought it was smart booking.
Yeah, I thought that they were gonna have. Now, of course, this didn't happen, but I was expecting that Dolph Ziggler would come down and attack John Cena, and that would be the reason why Cena would get pinned by CM Punk. And I couldn't think of any way to get Ryback out of the situation. But uh, not only did they not have Ziggler come down, but they had three other people come down, which made a lot more of a splash on the internet wrestling community than Ziggler coming down would ever done. Those three people were Dean Ambrose, Seth Rollins, and Roman Reigns from the developmental territory of FCW and from NXT. And everybody's been going nuts about Dean Ambrose for quite a while now because he kept wrestling a whole bunch of dark matches. And we were being told quite often that he was going to debut at any time. And it didn't seem like it was ever going to come the way that they've been doing it the past year. But he finally does make his debut, and those three attack Ryback, put him through the commentating table with a power bomb, which looked pretty good to me. I mean, if they're going to sell Ryback not being able to get up from something, putting him through two different tables is that's good enough as far as I'm concerned. Uh, and CM Punk gets the pin on John Cena after a shell shock, which there was quite a bit of time between the shell shock and the pin, so they really sold that pretty well too. Um, Heyman was, of course, hilarious in this match, shouting no when he was going for the shell shock and everything. It's always good. Good spot with Ryback hitting a double meat hook on CM Punk and John Cena. Really just a solid match. I was quite surprised with it. I thought that they were going to do something here to make it terrible because I was just how you can't really trust too much in WWE every once in a while. they give you a good pay-per-view like Hell in a Cell, and then usually they follow that up with something that's absolute garbage. But I really actually thought was a good end to the pay-per-view for both the elimination match and for the WWE Championship match. And uh, CM Punk had to win here. He could not. I was going to be so pissed if they would have said that he went a day away from being a year. And I started to get a little bit worried that they might when they started bringing that point up.
Yeah, same here. And I
but
mean, as far as that, oh no, you can go ahead.
yeah, and overall, I really thought that this came out a lot more solid than the way that some people were armchair booking it.
Oh yeah, I mean, I completely agree. I mean, I like the finish, and as you said before, I was going to mention this with John Cena selling the shell shock for quite a bit, a long time. And with that being said, I mean, it really puts over Ryback the devastation in his finisher. So I really like that aspect of it. And yeah, I would have been extremely pissed if Punk was to lose here, being a day away from 365. And my main thing going into this title reign, going as far back as a few months ago, was the fact that I really, oh so desperately, and still want him to, and he probably will at this point, is to break John Cena's WWE Championship reign from '07. If you can remember, he held it from Unforgiven '06 to a little bit after No Mercy in 2007, or a little bit before No Mercy, I'm sorry, for 380 days, I believe. And Punk is to break that record in the next few weeks. So I just want CM Punk to become the longest reigning WWE champion in Raw history, because all the other reigns, as far as Hulk Hogan and Bruno Sammartino go, they held it in the 80s or whatnot. So CM Punk, if he is to break John Cena's reign, which I'm pretty confident that he will break that reign and become the longest reigning champion in Raw history, which is absolutely amazing, and he deserves it. So as far as the match goes, I thought it was a strong matchup, the best match of Ryback's career. That's not saying much. He's only been around since before WrestleMania, or a little after WrestleMania. But even still, I really like the matchup. Ryback looked great here. He got in his cool spots, as you said before. He no-sold a lot of his moves, and not in a bad way either. After John Cena hit a few of his moves, and then he hit the back body drop on Ryback, and he got up almost immediately. That was pretty humorous. I thought that was cool. But I like the finish. And as far as the NXT 3 goes, here are my thoughts on that. I mean, as you said, there were a lot of people clamoring for Dean Ambrose to finally debut. Now, I haven't been a huge fan of Dean Ambrose. I'm not saying I hate him, but I'm just saying that I haven't been all that familiar with him. I've been seeing a lot of people clamoring for him to debut and comments and whatnot. Like, Dean Ambrose should have been here. He should have debuted here. Why didn't they have him be this guy? Why wasn't he the fifth person in the Survivor Series tag team match?
Right.
And, I haven't been really complaining about that personally, because I haven't really seen any of his work besides
Likewise.
one match. Yeah, exactly. Like his match with Regal and whatnot. I saw that. That was amazing. But that aside, I haven't really been, I don't want to say complaining, but really pushing for him to debut. But with that being said, I was marking the hell out when he did make his debut alongside Seth Rollins, who I am more familiar with from NXT. As far as I know, Dean Ambrose hasn't been on NXT at all. He hasn't made his debut because when they made FCW and NXT, Dean Ambrose was already on the verge of breaking into the main event scene, or on the main roster. So they didn't really have him on NXT at all, so I haven't been able to see any of his work. But still, I am really excited to where they go from here as far as this angle goes, kind of teasing a potential a a Punk NXT alliance kind of thing, maybe a similar thing with what we saw with the new Nexus. Will it meet the same fate as a new Nexus? I certainly hope not. I've been really pushing for this in recent weeks as to why they should bring back the Nexus. But with that being said, they shouldn't bring back the Nexus, but I kind of want them to, as kind of a guilty pleasure kind of thing. I love the Nexus so much. It doesn't have to be the Nexus; it could be its own entity. But Punk as a leader has failed before the Straight Edge the Straight Edge Savior, or what am I saying? The Straight Edge Society and the new Nexus. But that wasn't his fault. It was more so booking's fault.
Yeah.
So again, I'm looking forward to where they go from here. The match itself is really good, and probably one of the most exciting finishes to a WWE pay-per-view in quite some time. Extremely satisfied with the pay-per-view overall, and a great way to end a pay-per-view to have people looking forward to the next night on Raw.
Yeah, they've actually, if I remember correctly, the way that I review pay-per-views on my website in an overall kind of sense is 1, 2, and a 3, 3 being the best and 1 being the worst. I think all 3 of these past pay-per-views, I ended up giving them a 3, both Night of Champions and Hell in a Cell before this, and Survivor Series itself. So they're actually on quite a bit of a roll, even though as far as SmackDown and Raw comes, I skip like the majority of each episode. But you can't blame me when everything's rewind and everything. But so if they continue doing this, then TLC and the Royal Rumble and so on and so forth should be at the very least decent. But looking forward to see where they go, both with the TLC matches and with this NXT storyline too. Because if we are gonna have some kind of a multi-man match at WrestleMania involving these people, then they need to start building it up right now. And I don't know who they would end up having face these guys, but then again, we got time. So that's it then for the Survivor Series talk, and virtually it for episode 56. The only thing left is to go through some little plugs. So first off, as always, Sign Me Up initiative. If you guys remember, that's bring a Smark Out moment sign to any WWE, TNA, or other wrestling event of any sort, and send me a picture or a video of it, and I'll make sure to give you guys a shout out on the show, and thank you for obviously the promotion and all that kind of stuff. Always thankful if anybody tweets or if anybody, likes, subscribes, or anything of that sort. So keep checking out on all that kind of stuff. And for my other projects that you guys have been following lately, remember fanboysanonymous.com is up and running, and if you're interested in becoming a writer for that and you want to follow any kind of geek culture stuff and would like to make a little bit of money on as far as AdSense goes, let me know about that. And if not, and you just want to read a whole bunch of articles that Chris Dates writes about comic books or whatever, then go ahead and read that. You can always check out on Limbs, which is currently in a renewal process where I'm going through and kind of updating some old articles and everything. Right now, the current article up is about Black Friday, which is today when we're recording it, and how ridiculous it's gotten over the years. And of course, Smark Out Moment, everything, you can always follow about that on here. You can follow the Bleacher Report stuff on every account, and so on and so forth. Everybody already knows all my Twitter accounts and all that, so if you don't know what those are, then you aren't searching my name enough on the internet. So what do you got for us to plug, Graham? Any projects going on? Anything you guys going on in the future or anything like that?
Yeah, of course. I mean, you guys can, I have my own Facebook page. You guys can like me on Facebook just by searching Graham GSM Matthews. You guys can follow me on Twitter at @Steve_us_GSM. Same thing with Tout. Of course, I too write for Bleacher Report just by searching Graham GSM Matthews. I have my own website, nextwrestling.weebly.com. All my articles are up there and much, much more as far as reviews for this show goes, Survivor Series, Raw, SmackDown, and so on and so forth. I have my own radio show at Spoilers Podcast, blogtalkradio.com/Spoilers Podcast. And I have my other show, Save Us GSM, that airs every Wednesday on pw247.net at 10 p.m. Eastern Time. So make sure to look out for that. And again, thanks for having me on. I really do appreciate it. I had a great time.
Yeah, thanks for having on. We're going to have to get you back again. Really good show. Very solid from top to bottom. So for anybody interested in the little end of the year awards thing, we'll throw Graham's name out there for best guest of the year. See if we can get some votes for it. That is it then for episode 56. This has been another Smark Out moment, and I'm being counted out. See you next time, everybody. Stand back. There's an outro coming through.